So we all love when fall comes around. I have yet to meet a person who doesn't love fall, specifically for fall fashion. And every year, like clockwork, the internet tries to tell us the things that we just must buy for the fall season. I'm here to tell you, you don't need any of that. But let's just start with 7 items that you definitely don't need for fall. Hey guys, welcome. If you're new here, I'm Cleshawn and I discuss all things capsule wardrobes, personal style, a little bit of slow design, and as well as some intentional living. If you like the sound of that, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Anywho, let's get into today's video. So we're gonna start off quite strong. Number 1 is actually one thing that I genuinely love. So I'm kind of talking to myself at this point. And if you're anything like me, you might resonate with this. But you most definitely do not need another neutral sweater. So when I say you don't need another neutral sweater, you genuinely don't, because I'm quite sure you already have a bunch of neutral sweaters in your wardrobe. So like, just use what you have. It's funny that I mentioned this because I'm actually in the market for a neutral sweater. There is this lovely like navy knit, chunky knit cardigan, not cardigan, I always say chunky knit cardigan, but it's a chunky knit like crew neck sweater, and it's from the Row. Now we all know the Row and their prices. It's a bit wild. It's kind of crazy. I don't think that I am their target market, but I must admit they do have some items that I tend to be attracted to. But a lot of the times it's items you can kind of find from a lot of places. And you know, look, a lot of people like the Row, and so a lot of the top like companies are gonna make dupes. Like, that's just where we are. If you're anything like me, you do get excited about sweaters. So it's like quite easy to get distracted. But you know, just go try it on in the store if you must try on something new. Like, you know, take a few photos, but don't buy it. Like, you really need to think about it. I feel like if you just take the time to think about something, then you'll know whether it's something you really, really want or need, versus just like buying it on impulse. So just be really, really mindful when you're buying something that is just, I don't know, just like that thing that always gets you. And so again, for me, it's a sweater. Okay, so the second item is another kind of like heavy hitter. You see this all the time, and it is basically a coat. I mean, it's like the quintessential thing for fall, right? But I feel like I keep seeing suede coats, and I remember this from last year, and I remember it from the year before last. Maybe it's like a slight variation in color, but you don't really need another coat, whether it's the color, if it's the fabrication, or if it is the silhouette. You have plenty. I feel quite certain that unless you are an ultra minimalist, you have everything you need. I have several suede coats in my closet that I don't wear. So I know I will not be buying any suede coats, any trendy color coats. Oh my God, if I see yet another forest green or chocolate brown kind of like car coat with a corduroy collar, I'm going to scream. They are beautiful, but they're everywhere. They're in every store. So no, you don't need a suede jacket. You don't need an army green brown corduroy car coat. You just use what you have, especially in 2025. This is a wild year for a lot of us. So save your money. The third thing that you don't need to buy is something I'm calling like basic fall or pumpkin spice fall wear. You know, when you go on Pinterest and then you see the girls and they're like long, typically blonde curls, and they're like oversized sweater and their jeans and their boots and all the various like shades of brown and beige. You don't need to dress like that. You don't need to bring out the plaid or the pumpkin, anything that's super cliche and like you're just living this kind of like Pinterest lifestyle. That's not you. That's not personal. Now, it doesn't mean that like maybe that is the personal style for some of you, but it's so basic. Like, how do you bring your personality out for fall. I think I would much rather you focus on your personality versus basic fall girl personality into your fall wardrobe. So just keep that in mind. You don't need the beige and the chunky knit and the plaid. Just figure out what your style is and continue it on into the fall season. So the fourth one is something that's quite practical actually for fall, and it's gonna be boots. And again, I just feel like we all own so many pairs of boots. We are just always like, when the season comes, I feel like it's the jacket, it's the boots, it's the sweater. And then one of the next things that I'm going to talk about as well. Like, you don't need it. You have probably at least 3 pairs of black boots. How many black boots do you own? Please put it in the comments. How many black boots you own and how many brown boots you own. And I don't care the fabrication. I just want to know exactly how many you have, because I feel certain you have at least 3. So do you need to add another pair of boots, specifically black or brown, to your fall wardrobe? No, probably not. I'm pretty sure you can make do with what you have. So if you feel like you want to buy another pair, just do like a boot audit. See what you already own. You know, maybe it's time to sell a pair so that, you know, you can get rid of one and you can bring a new one in. No one is to say you can't buy anything, but you just really want to be mindful. So even again, I'm talking to myself with this video as well. And I'm not shaming you or judging you. I'm just saying, just be mindful. That's it. So do a boot audit to see if you actually need another pair of boots before you go out and buy a pair for fall. So one thing that I've been seeing that's been trending actually like this entire year has been accessories and jewelry. And I love accessories and jewelry because I feel like that's where the personality comes in for your outfits. It's, for me, that's how I bring in the personality, because my clothes tend to be a little bit more classic, if you will. And I have like that personality twist that brings in the fun. And I say that my wardrobe is made of like 80-20, so 80% staples, 20% statement. So this is definitely one of my statement pieces. But usually my personality comes in with my accessories. Even like this red ring I'm wearing is something I would consider a statement. So this thing, I just feel like with fall, and even a continuance from summer, is like this overabundance, like maximalist, like jewelry and accessorizing, which is really fun, to be honest. But the funny thing is, if you want to kind of implement that trend into your wardrobe, you don't really need to buy anything, because the things that are trending are things that you probably really genuinely own. They've probably been sitting in your closet, in your jewelry box, or wherever for like many years. It might be stuff like that, you know, your mother has, or maybe if you have some heirloom goods from someone. You know, it's really interesting, the things that are trending, because it's things that literally I just grew up seeing like my mom and my grandma wearing, and things that if you go into any secondhand shop you will find. So you don't really need to go out and buy these things like cheap kind of jewelry, cheap accessories, because you probably already own it. And you can just do fun things. Like I'm seeing a lot of like, you know, wearing the scarves that I talked about this earlier this year, wearing the scarf around your waist. I'm sure you have a scarf. You can just do that. Bring it into fall. You don't need to buy a new one in a brown colorway or anything. A bunch of like layering of necklaces and like nice natural materials. Go into your local Goodwill, you will find something. You don't need to go buy something from some fast fashion shop. So just be very mindful of like buying like super trendy, like cheap, like accessories and jewelry, because again, just layer up what you already have. You don't really need to go and buy from the fast fashion shop. So yeah, so the next thing I want to talk about, I think we're on number 6, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's basically like impulse buys, or you know, buying things because it's a good deal, right? I know there's like sales happening, especially at the end of the season, and look, unless it was already on your wish list, you don't need to buy it. You really have to. It's psychological. You need to know this. I was literally taught this in school, okay? It is psychological. You do not need to buy anything because it's on sale, because it's a good price, because you see what the price used to be and what the price is now, and in your head you're like, oh my God, that's a great deal, I need to get it. You don't. Just click off the website. You don't need to buy anything. Now, if you have a list already, and I always have a list of the things that I want, a little wish list. Do I always stick to it? No. Do I buy things outside of that list? Most definitely. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to help you, and I'm trying to help myself. So keep a good wish list, and if the thing you want goes on sale, then I mean, yes. Oh my God, what a feeling when there's something you already wanted and you get it on a good deal. There's nothing better than that. So just be mindful of shopping for things that you don't need, or things that you feel like, well, I might wear this next year or this year and blah, blah, blah. You won't. And if you're on this channel, I mean, you know we don't do trends over here anyway. It doesn't mean we can't partake in them sometimes to have a little fun, but we don't care about trends. So a wish list is something you should already be doing anyway. So I wanted to end with something that is sort of quintessential for this channel, and it's going to be capsules. And I'm calling it like a duplicate capsule, like a fall duplicate capsule wardrobe. You don't need it. Every year, every season, you know, all of the content creators and the stylists and whomever comes out with the things that you must have for your capsule wardrobe. You don't need any of it. And it's so funny because a lot of those things are really basic. So those cookie cutter lists that you see every year, every season, you know, they don't work for everyone. They don't work for a lot of people, to be honest, because the one component of it that's missing is you. So even when I do my core capsules, I'm showing you my style, what works for me. And the only way I can help you is to sort of influence you to like see how I look at things, and, you know, help you to kind of figure out how to do that in your own wardrobe. So you don't really need a duplicate wardrobe because you already have the things that you wear all the time. You have your staples. That's what you need in your fall capsule. You need your thicker layers, your thicker materials, because it's colder. These are the things that you should be focusing on, and not on like just buying yet another striped shirt, yet another button down, yet another sweater. You don't need that. Just use what you already have. And if you have a wish list going, even better. Then you're like really getting the things that you feel that you need, or that you really, really, really want, because there is room for joy. You can buy things just for fun, but you want to make sure that you're not doing that majority of the time. I think we have that skewed. So your style doesn't come from buying everything new, everything trendy for fall. It comes from utilizing what you already have and making the best of the things you already have, and just looking at it from a new perspective, and maybe adding in elements to like freshen it up. But you don't need to buy all things new. So please keep this in mind when you are building your capsule wardrobe for fall. I'm quite curious to hear about the things that you feel that you always like, you think you need to buy specifically for fall, but then you actually never wear. I was so glad that I invested in that Index app, and no, this video is not sponsored, but oh my gosh, it just helps me to see exactly what I'm wearing and what I'm not wearing. So I'm so curious to hear the things that you're like, yeah, every time the season comes around, I'm so happy to buy this, and then I end up not wearing it. Please drop it in the comment box below. Anywho, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye.